What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So for this video, I'm just going to talk about like a quick and dirty pros and cons of the Super Adventure S in a GS owner's perspective, I guess my personal perspective. I made a short list. I wrote on my whiteboard there, top 3 pros and top 3 cons. I'll try to just sum it up real quickly. There's a lot of videos about this bike already, and just disclaimer, this is a 2023. People think it's a 22 because of the colorway. For the US market, this is what we got. So there's, I don't know what's going on with that. It is what it is. The only difference is there's like a more orange on the tail end of this colorway, and we didn't get that. So I'll take what I can get. The US market, US supply for Super Adventure S is super thin, and you know, this is, I can't complain. So I love the bike. So I chose this color. There was a gray one. They call it gray, but it's mostly black. So this is the color I like. I apologize for this beam here. It's really annoying, but this is my garage. Anyway, one more disclaimer is I'm filming in the garage because we've been having 2 weeks of constant storm and it's flooding outside and all that stuff. So anyway, to the video. Pros and cons. So let's just start with the pros. And first is, I would say, cost. So this is much cheaper than all the other options out there. I would say that you're considering, if you're considering a GS, and of course a GSA is far more expensive. So let's say you're buying a GS. A GS has, let's say, heated grips right off the bat. This doesn't. It's very cheap. It's $100 something to add the heated grips on this, and turning it on is free from the dealership. So that's negligible. What else can you get with a GS that's not on here? Actually, that's pretty much it. So a regular GS is far more expensive than this bike. So that's why it's a pro for this bike. My second one is electronics, and electronics because this one has adaptive cruise control. A lot of rider aids. The rider aids on this one is, I would think, is far more superior, more intelligent than the GS. I'm not gonna say the GS is bad, but I'm just saying like this is more up to date. But of course, the GS is gonna catch up. That's the caveat there. Of course, it's gonna catch up anytime soon, probably 2024. They're gonna release a major update on the GS. It's due. You know, the GS has the first. I mean, the latest update on the GS is 2019. They're due for an update now. They should, you know, it's coming up. So that's the caveat there. But so first is cost, second is electronics. This is pros of this bike. The suspension on this, the technology on the suspension on this is far more superior, I believe. Of course, the GS, the 2019 has really good adaptive suspension as well, but this one is a little, I would say, a tad better. And of course, the engine on this, the third and final pro is the engine. There's nothing that compares to this engine. Close is maybe the Multistrada V4, but in terms of like, it depends on the flavor you like, right? So I would say the GS is more of like a tractor. Like it just you know, basically a very reliable, grunty, all torque kind of thing. Like it's just, you know, it just goes. But this one has kind of had that emotion, that rawness to it. The V4 has the more precision rawness. Like it's a different kind of rawness to it. So if you're looking for like that kind of punch you in the face attitude, this is the engine that you would pick. So that's how I can label, I think, characterize this engine. It's like like in your face, like you kind of want to fight somebody type thing, you know. So but the V4 is more of like precision, a little bit of, there's a little grunt there, but it's more of a, they're in the fine precision space now. And then the GS is more of just a tractor, you know, just it just works kind of thing. Like it just dependable, it just works. And nothing wrong with all those flavors, you know. It depends on your taste at the moment. But coming from 3 GSAs, I kind of want something else for now, and I want to give this one a shot. And of course, having a Super Duke over there, I know what that engine does, and putting it on an adventure bike, you know, it's kind of like a no-brainer. So now let's talk about the cons. So I had to stand up for the cons. So the cons is, of course, in my eyes, is that the chain. So people won't care, or some people won't care, but coming from 3 GSAs, owning a shaft drive and touring with a shaft drive, the fact that you don't have to really maintain it. I know it's heavy and there's more complicated parts into it, and something breaks in there, you're stranded, whatever. Nothing of those happened to me with all my long distance trips. I Granted, I don't off-road that hard on the GSA, of course, at all, just fire roads and gravel roads. But I've never seen any catastrophic failure amongst my circle of friends, people that track the GS. None of them have ever failed their shaft drive system. So that's the only thing. The main thing for me is like I have to maintain this chain, adjust the chain, lube the chain, stuff like that. Like, of course, I ride, in all weathers. For an adventure bike, I ride in all weathers, wet, dry, dirty, whatever. So that kind of thing, I have to constantly maintain the chain now. So that's the only thing. And let's say my second on the list is build quality. Build quality, somewhat. So I put somewhat there because somewhat, it's not really, build quality of the Super Adventure is not bad. But I would explain that overall, if you're gonna compare this to a BMW build quality, I would say the plastic, the material, like I would say, I want to say it's good. Okay, it's good, but like it's a little bit of a step down in terms of comparing it to a BMW material choices. The plastic is kind of soft and it's not premium feel to it. BMW uses plastic too, of course, on their GS. A lot of panels are plastic. I think the side plates are metal on the GSA. I only have experience with the GSA. I never owned a regular GS. So the side plates is metal. This one's all plastic, a lot of plastic, but the plastic they chose seems a little flimsy and cheap. So that's it. It's just, like I said, somewhat. It's not. It's a matter of, I'm nitpicking here. So I'm saying it's a tad lower, just a tad, not like substantially lower, but So it's as an overall package, the GS BMW choice of materials is a little bit higher than this one, in my opinion. So the third and final con for me is comfort. Like I want to say that I haven't ridden the regular GS. I'm comparing this to a GSA. So GSA has a more wind protection. It has a bit better tank protection. So in this area, you're covered more than on a GSA compared to this one, because this one is not that wide in terms of your knees are exposed when you're in the wind. Your knees are exposed. Also, the GSA has a bigger windshield, so this one is not so big. So those are all nuances to this comparison. So take that with a grain of salt. But in terms of like, at least the seat on a GS is far superior. Like in terms of foam quality, this is not bad. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna ask me which one is more comfortable, I would pick the GSA. So it's just this one is premium quality. It feels premium. It's just a little bit on the stiffer side. It's a little bit firm. It's more firm. You can get comfort seat, of course, but like I said, you have to spend. So in terms of as a package, if you're looking at it, package to stock to stock, it's just the GS has more comfort. It's just the seat quality, the gel they use, it's much more comfortable to me. So yeah, there's top three things. Hopefully that wasn't too all over the place, but you're gonna ask me, why did I pick this over the GSA? Like I mentioned before, I just wanted to give it a shot because I fallen in love with the engine on the Super Duke. That's kind of like my bike. Like if I'm gonna go riding sport, I like the Super Duke. I still love my S1000RRs. I want to add one into the garage again someday. I just can't seem to fully commit to it yet because some stuff that's going on with the 2020 and onwards. But the 2023 is the year that I might consider it. So they've updated it. So we'll see. Who knows? But so far I like this pairing. I'm very confident on riding that on the track. I love it. So just the engine of this has me like I really love the engine on this as an adventure bike. It just for my taste at the moment, the speed and just I like it. I just like it as a package. Like I know what it represents. They're ready to race. And it can also tour. And you guys have seen all the reviews on this generation of Super Adventure S. It can even even an Adventure S can do pretty much a lot of off-roading if your skill allows. You know, you can just change the tires and it can do it all. So I think for this video, I'll add also to note that I chose the S model, like I mentioned on the last video. I chose the S and not the R because I'm planning to use this every day, and S just makes sense. It doesn't make sense for me to pay more to have less technology. The R doesn't have all the technology this thing has. It's all manual, and that's because the R is meant to go to the most harshest conditions where you won't have any dealers nearby or whatever. You know, I don't think I'll ever do that anytime soon. So the S is good enough for me, and it does have all the creature comforts, and I like that. So that's it. I try to keep it under 10 minutes, but I missed it a little bit. And yeah, hopefully that was a little bit informative. And thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments, and see you guys on the next video.